that you abolished the diaper tax.
The thing is, if you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. Every single one is different.
When you're the dean of the School of Communications at Quinnipiac University
because it's allowed me to understand education.
I started traveling the country, just training people to understand these disabilities.
That was one of the reasons why I brought you on to discuss that.
Monday night, 8 p.m. EST.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night, Pamela Roth Live. You are going to absolutely love our guest tonight. I'm very privileged to bring on Michelle Hoffman. And Michelle is a relationship coach. And she has written 2 books, the international best-selling author of the following books, Life Worth Living and New Management Blueprint. And so Michelle's a relationship expert, and she's going to tell us everything that we need to know of how to make your relationship work if you're in one. And that would be both on a personal level and a professional level. And if you're looking to get into a relationship, what you need to know to make it successful. And if you're in a relationship, how to recognize the red flags if it's toxic and how to get out of it. So without any further ado, let's welcome Michelle Hoffman.
Pam, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. It's a privilege. I was reading up about you and I was watching some of your podcasts, and it's great. You know, first of all, you have so much information and I can't wait for you to share it with our audience.
All right. I'm so excited because I just got a text from one of my clients showing how happy she is in the relationship of her dreams. And, you know, when you do relationshiping right, life is better with good love in it. It's just amazing. And we don't have the role models, and few of us are taught how to do this. And it's becoming harder and harder in the world to connect in a meaningful and loving way, to know that you're surrounded by the people who really want your best interest in mind, or who really have your best interest in mind. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to share this time with you.
Oh, so am I. So, I know, growing up, what we have as children, if you're fortunate enough to have a 2-parent household, you really look to your parents or your grandparents for any relationship information. I know, for instance, growing up, my grandparents were married like over 70 years because that was like the old school way of doing it. You stay married until one dies, or until you nag the other one to death.
Or maybe one passes and the other was like, I don't know how to live without you.
That too, and then, it gets to the point where I know growing up back in the day, it was very rare that you heard about parents or people getting divorced because there was that, stigma of like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. You can't do that. You have to stay together for the children. And so, you have this perception that if you're in a relationship and it's not good, and if you have a child or children, you have to stay in it because for the children. But it's not like that anymore. People get out of relationships, and then it makes it hard to find one. So help us find a good relationship.
Okay, so you've hit a bunch of different topics in there. In order of appearance, one of the things that you were saying is the way that we used to connect in relationships and enduring relationships and marriage, there were different reasons to get involved in the relationship. Mm-hmm. Maybe there were, of course, times when marriages were set for the betterment of the country and the royal reign, but not everyone is like that. And as times go on, then there was a situation where maybe a female needed the protection of having a male partner. Mm-hmm. And maybe then again, as society continues to progress, perhaps people are getting together for financial reasons or other types of emotional or security reasons. And I think kind of there was like a shift to, well, let's connect so that we can have a family. And then this is about where I think you're stepping us in here, where we can connect to have a family, but then, oh gosh, we aren't the right partners for each other. And we now have a family. We made a commitment. We need to stick to that commitment. Or maybe there's faith-based reasons. So faith and family are two primary reasons that people get together and stay together. You're so right on. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we are the best role models for future generations and the people coming in to assess and invite the right relationships into them in modern day. And so it's, the dating rules of engagement have changed.
Oh, yes, they have.
Can you imagine a generation or two ago going online and shopping and going, ooh, dopamine hits. I could potentially have a relationship with this person. No, swipe left. This person, like. So, yeah, the world has changed.
Oh, Michelle, the world has changed because, when I used to go on, first of all, I'm from the generation that we used to go to clubs and go dancing to go meet people,
Right.
and of course, you see someone from across the room, either he's dancing or he's having a cigarette, and I'm going, like, the eye contact, and ooh, baby, ooh, you can feel that across the room. And then the only thing I did online was shopping at Zappos. I would get excited from the shoes going like, oh my God, I add 1 to the cart, I add 2 to the cart, I add 3 to the cart. But you can't do that with guys now on dating apps, adding them to the cart. But you kind of well, they're not all getting shipped to your house.
Kind of can. I'm not sure it's the most effective relationship strategy. If you want to jump in here, we can. So what you are sharing is a way that I help people determine how they're going to go about finding a relationship. So you gave us a little bit of a window into the way that you like to shop. I mean, yeah, you're going out with your friends and you catch eyes with someone and there's this chemistry that happens. You inhale, the law of attraction brings you closer. You've got either Marvin Gaye or you've lost that love and feeling, something playing in the, some risky business song playing in the background. You're getting closer and closer and closer. He smells divine.
And then he beats on his chest with like, oh, let me bring her back to my cave.
This is the one for you. So that is what I would consider the third layer of how you choose someone. And people, have a tendency to choose that third tier first. Right. And that's one of the biggest mistakes we can make. So, I mean, granted there's chemistry there, and chemistry, you're going to, follow your adrenaline rush on that. Sure, go for it. But that doesn't always create an enduring relationship. So if you're going to, use hormones, use them as a global positioning system, not as like the divining rod kind of thing,
I think it's actually the pheromones,
Well, that too. It's all of it. The pheromones, actually, we can get into the science of pheromones. I think there's a lot of really important information to help choose a mate, because I believe that our pheromones are cluing us into choosing a partner who we can create a healthy offspring with. But that's probably going to be for another day, because we need to find that relationship first, right? So where we were going in this, I gave you a little secret. I've got, kind of a teaser. I'm going to give you the 3 layers of how to find the right relationship for you. And you're touching upon the third layer, the third tier. But what we're doing is figuring out your relationship strategy. So let's play a game. Tell me about a purchase you have made. I mean, shoes, you were telling us you put a bunch in the cart. They might come to you. If they don't fit, you return them. And that might be how you go about this too. But what was like a purchase you've made, a big ticket item, very valuable purchase, and how did you go about making it?
Okay, so let's just use my lease car.
Okay, good one.
That was a big one. Went to Bear first. It's like I was trying to decide, okay, what kind of car do I want as far as for mileage and durability? Because I know I'm going to be in it for a while since I'm always in the car. It's the inside joke. It's like, where's Pam? It's like, where's Waldo? She's always in the car. And so, I went around to various dealerships and I was sitting in different cars and taking them for test drives. Not that I take a man for a test drive. I don't want to sound like that. That's like another topic.
We can go there later.
That's ours. So, basically, making a decision of like, what's the best car? Do I want domestic? Do I want something foreign? Do I want somebody with an accent?
You're getting
And
it.
what's the best deal that I'm going to get for my money?
Okay. All right. So this is a game is sort of like Mad Libs, if you remember that game,
Yes.
where we're going to take the word car out and we're going to insert relationship in.
Okay.
So what kind of relationship would you like? Well, I'm going to look at the different dealers. I'm going to look at the different makes and models. I know I'm going to be in this relationship for a while. And then I'm going to visit different dealerships. I'm going to sit in them. I'm going to test drive my relationship. And I'm going to make a choice. Do I want a domestic relationship, or a foreign relationship? Then I'm going to go for the best deal for my money. And this is your relationship strategy. Now, I'm not saying you're going to buy a relationship by any means, but how you do one thing is kind of how sometimes you do other things. So just like you were telling us with the Zappos shoes, you're going to look, you're going to see, you're going to make the eye contact, just like with the fella in the bar. These look like I'm going to feel like $1 million and it's going to be a great deal for the money. So I'm going to put a bunch of these shoes in my cart and I'm going to decide which ones do I really want. Then I'll try them out and see how they work. I'll sit in it for a while. So you can see how those things sort of match. And people have wildly different ways of going about making valuable purchases and making big decisions in their lives in this way. So now you have a little bit of insight into your relationship strategy, right?
Interesting.
Okay. So now what I'd like to share with you is, rather than starting at the third tier, let's start at the first tier when you're looking for that right partner to bring into your life. And one of the things that I talk about is what I call the arc of your relationship, your relationship arc. And that's like, where are you at in life? What would you like for the rest of your life? And this, of course, includes chronological age, but it also includes, where are you at in life? Why love now? What will a partner bring in to your life? So I don't know, do you want to play this out?
Sure, why not? It's fun.
All right. So, what are you looking for in a partner? Are you looking to have someone share a home with? Are you looking to increase your professional life with them? Do you want a family with them? Do you want a companion to go on adventures with? Where are you at?
I would say, let's see, divorced now 6 years. So not looking for children. That ship sailed. I have one. I think I have a good one. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
It's somebody who I could share my life goals and experiences with on a day-to-day basis. The good days, the bad days, the in-between days, and share that with my mate.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm saying primate, with my primate.
Primary.
The gorilla in the room. Companionship, somebody who very supportive, to be supportive of each other, of dreams and goals, someone to get older with, someone to laugh with, someone to cry with, but somebody who's there, someone who, for stability, also, share a home, share a life with, because, you could have a good day and be successful. And it's nice to come home and share it with somebody, because you can't share it with the four walls in your house.
Right.
Same thing if you're having a bad day and you just need someone for support. You need that support system. Right. Again, you could have all these accolades and degrees and awards on the wall. You can't exactly cuddle up with them on the couch.
Right.
So it's somebody to share everything with.
Okay. So where you're at on the lifeline of your relationship arc is kind of, I don't know, here. And what you're talking about is looking to invite someone with, and I'm assessing your core values, which is step 2 in the process while you're saying this. So you're looking for somebody who's got stability, someone with a sense of humor, someone who will have your back, who you want to have their back,
Right.
not necessarily someone you want to take care of, but that the two of you care for one another. Am I on the right track here?
Right. Take care of each other, emotionally, physically, financially, just basically a support system, but somebody who is a friend, because with me, before I can get deep into something, I have to be friends with the person. I have to like you and care about you before I could turn around and say, I love you.
Right. Okay. So friendship's one of your values.
Yes.
Humor is one of your values.
Absolutely.
Have an adventure, and who you're looking to invite into your life is someone who you can rely on. And the way that you up level a relationship is through communication, respect, and trust. So someone who the communication skills are clear, you understand one another, and by repeatedly having those positive, experiences, even the hard ones. Sometimes it's great to bring up difficult and hard topics, because then you learn how you navigate those types of challenges, and that you're not going to just step out and leave when things get tough. So you're looking for someone to share life celebrations and challenges with, to go through time with, the little moments in life as well as the big ones, right?
Right.
Did I get you?
Right.
Okay. So now
communication is really big.
communication is huge. I mean, look, you've got a podcast. You're trying to share voice there. So now you've tier stepped this from where you at in the lifeline of your relationship arc. You're looking for someone who's got a similar intersection to where you're at now, whose dreams and goals are somewhat in alignment, so that you're not combating and competing for revenue, resources, time, energy, and attention to fulfill your life's destiny together. And then you get to be a power couple when you do that, right? Then, got it? So the next layer, it sounds like we've assessed some of your core values of communication, trust, stability, adventurous, we said that one, support, sharing life's celebrations and challenges.
Well, you know what else is important to me, Michelle? Mutual respect is very important.
Yep.
And also being on the same level intellectually. Not everyone has to be on the same level education-wise, because I consider myself highly educated at 3 degrees, unless I'm actually going to go find somebody who's, a Columbia scholar. That doesn't always happen. But somebody who is open-minded and has many, or shares many interests. Again, I'm not looking like for the male version of me, because at some point that would be boring. But somebody who's just very open, someone who likes to listen. Sometimes, something, listening is more important in a relationship than doing the talking.
Right. So my secret to that is to offer, would you like me to listen, guide, or help? And that, that helps in many situations when you're sharing that communication with one another, so that you can actually communicate on how to be there for one another in the best possible way. And of course, you can up level that. So you did a nice segue, Pam, to the third tier. And the third tier is aligning faith, family, finances, fitness, the physical, frequency, intellectual, cultural types of things together. And these develop the circumstances of our lives. And we want them to be in alignment, but we all have, some are a higher priority and some are not that relevant to us, and we'll respect that they are relevant to our partner. So that's the third tier right there. And if you can make sure that you've got someone at a similar intersection in life as to where you're at and what you want for the rest of your life, if you've got your core values in alignment, because that's how you actually make decisions, the big decisions in your life. So you don't need them to be exactly the same, but comparable core values. And for example, you have this incredible sense of humor. Somebody's going to want to invite humor into their lives. And then that makes everything more fun, because the laughter comes in. So that's one of the values you bring to a relationship. And then faith, family, fitness, finance, frequency, intellect, cultural, all of those things, which sometimes it's like the guy across the bar, that might have been enough to bring you closer. But when you don't have everything in alignment, the relationship breaks down. There's a red flag and there's a deal breaker very quickly. So that's how you would line up a relationship for success upon meeting someone.
And what makes it harder these days is as everybody gets older, for people who've been in and out of relationships, in and out of marriages, or someone who's never been married and just has been in relationships, what makes it harder is that people seem to have less patience for communication.
When they're invested, it won't be so challenging. But to your point, we kind of drive grooves in our life that we're comfortable with, and we keep into that groove. And if somebody else is coming in, it's like, well, I can't change for you. But when there's somebody who's important enough you want to invite into your life, you maintain your individuality, and you're creating this third entity of your relationship, this little universe where you have all of those secret jokes and the inside information on one another. And it's bigger than the individuals themselves. This is what's so much greater. And that's where even if we become set in our ways, we find that we are better and more excited about living life fully when you can maintain your individuality and you're part of something greater than yourself, this relationship universe that you share with your partner. And if we do it right, we even said we could get to power couple level, right? So no matter what our age is, what our life circumstances are, if you can put your priorities in order of who is the right person to invite into your life, then it's very easy to follow the same cycle that all relationships follow, from chemistry to casual to committed, and successfully up-level a relationship with communication, respect, and trust. And it gets easier when you put the right things in place in the right order.
No, I thoroughly agree with you. And you know what's nice? You know how a lot of times people say, well, he would be great if only he would change and do this. Or she would be perfect if she was just change. Wait a second. Why is anybody changing? It's one thing if you're in a good relationship with somebody, it's not a question of changing for him or her. It's making you or the other person better. And that's a big difference than saying, well, I'm going to change for her. Or I'm going to change for him. I don't want you to change. If I met you like this, it's because there's something about you that I'm attracted to. I don't want you suddenly changing. And I certainly wouldn't want to make somebody change for me because, and this was actually said to me many, many years ago. When I was living in Colorado, I had spoken to this wonderful woman psychologist who was actually involved as an expert witness in the O.J. Simpson case. And it was really fascinating. I don't even know how we came about. It was like a woman's luncheon. And she said, as soon as you start changing for him, once he sees that you're so easily changeable, he will leave you for someone else. And now you're this changed piece of clay that you don't even know who you are anymore. You just lost your identity. And she said, you don't change for someone. You'll make yourself better. Like he can make you a better person in whatever it is. You can make him a better person in whatever it is. But it's not that you're changing, and you should never change for somebody.
I agree with that. If you're changing who you are, it's like carrying a big weight really far from your body. How long can you hold on to that? There's a limited amount of time that you can be something that you're not. And I would say if there was one mistake that people make more than any other when they're out in the dating field looking for the right person to invite into their lives, changing who you are would be the biggest mistake that people make. If you can feature and highlight what the most valuable aspects of you are just intrinsically and naturally, that will invite someone in who's attracted to genuine you. And boy, it's a lot easier being you You have no competition. People will go on to the online dating sites, and they'll go on so that they can see who their competition is, and then they try to match the competition. But you have zero competition because you are the best version of you that you could possibly be. And that's who we want to invite someone in to fall in love with. And to your point, maintaining your identity, then the relationship universe that you're creating together with this person is genuine, is authentic, is real. And that's somebody that you can have an enduring relationship with. But if you're trying to be someone you're not, it simply doesn't last because you can't uphold that image forever.
No, eventually, yeah, it's like the mask that you put on. And I love that the line from the Beatles song where Eleanor Rigby keeps her face by the door. It's a mask on the face of the door, and it's like at some point, you're going to pretend to be this other person to make your mate happy. And eventually that mask is going to come off and they're going to go like, whoa, who the hell are you? Well, this is the real me. I didn't think you were going to like the real me. So I pretended to be Eleanor Rigby or whoever it is.
Right. And then people say, hey, you're not who you said you were. Those are the people who are misrepresenting themselves, who are betraying themselves as well as whoever they're meeting. It's like, oh, I saw one thing and then bam, you became someone else. How did this happen? So I would say one of the most important things is to be genuine with who you are, because that's who somebody wants, truly. And you may not believe it, but you can spend some more time with me and I will convince you of that. And then you'll find and go, I get to just be me, and you want more of me exactly as I am. Those are words that my clients have said to me.
Oh, Michelle, let me tell you something. I love being me. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. Right. And I think there are a lot of people who wouldn't want to be me. They try to be, but I like being me. I don't want to be anybody else.
Absolutely right. Because you're perfection exactly as you are, because there's no way anyone else could be you. And you were saying, oh, I don't want to have a relationship with my doppelganger or my,
my male version of me.
Right. But even that, you can have the most genuine, fantastic relationship with yourself, and you won't be intruding on the relationship that you have with someone else, because someone else is going to bring in a new frequency, a new energy, something fresh. So if you were stranded on a deserted island and you had all the coconuts and food that you could possibly want, the weather's amazing, at some point, you're going to wish to share that incredible experience with someone, walking hand in hand, dancing on the sand. Yep. But how do you find that person? And in this day and age, we could go through our regular daily life. We could go, and expand our network and go, well, who do you know who is the right person for me? And in this day and age, it's even an accepted practice to go online that expands our network, worldwide. So if you want the domestic or the foreign car. So really you have the choices in all the world to invite the right person into you. So how do you get that person is, let's say you're back on your deserted island, you come up with an incredible idea. You're going to send a message in a bottle, and you're going to throw the bottle out into the ocean and wait. And voila, in no time at all, a message comes back to you in a bottle. And you're so excited because you have this vision in your head of who this person is who's received your message. And what I see more often than not is that you'll break open the bottle and open your message and be like, this isn't at all who I'm looking for. And I would question, what is the message that you're sending that this is who you're attracting? So sending the right message out is absolutely key to invite the right person in. And that's how you get the right person to join you on Relationship Island.
Also, too, something before you could get into, and I was actually having this discussion with a friend of mine, before you can get into a relationship with someone else, you actually have to love yourself. because those are the vibes you're getting off. Like if I'm secure and I'm happy with who I am, then I'm presenting that, either consciously or subconsciously. Because if you're not happy with yourself, or you seem desperate to get into a relationship, you're going to meet Mr. Wrong, Mr. Illegal alien, Mr. Criminal, or Mr. Felony. You can meet like all the wrong people, because
So,
or Mr. I don't want to get in a relationship, I'm just going to use you.
ugh, I think there's a lid to every pot, they
Right.
say. And to your point, you do need to have a relationship with yourself. At the same time, I have a whole program called Ready to Be Relationship Ready. And it helps give you and your amygdala and your finances and the people you go to for what, and your friendship circle and your relationship with who you are in the world, a sense of calm, security, confidence that people don't always have without this type of process to go through. Typically, the people who go through the Ready to Be Relationship Ready process increase the confidence that they have in themselves and their lives by 133%. So I know that this works beautifully. To your point, you don't need to wait until you are perfect. Or you say, oh, I just, I need to lose some weight and then I'll meet you, because that will create that movie moment. Or if only I were richer, if only I were younger, so people feel like they have baggage when in fact, those things may not be the most important thing in a relationship. So I mentioned this before when in the green room, but it's like, looks come and go.
Right.
Money comes and goes. Age just goes. And there's, where are you at on the social stratus, the hierarchy of celebrity fame? People want different things for different reasons. So yes, it's important to know who you are in the world and the value you bring to a relationship. It's important to have a relationship with yourself and to be able to trust yourself and increase your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-value, because that makes you a quality partner to invite in a quality partner. Sometimes people are looking for a level 10 relationship when they have level 3 skills. We can up-level those skills so they can actually up-level their relationship. But in reality, who are we looking for? I would say, and I do agree, it's important to have a relationship with yourself. I've put together the whole Ready to Be Relationship Ready program, but you can't have a relationship with someone else until there was someone else in the room. If there's no one else in the relationship, you're still having a relationship with yourself. And that, I think I may differ from other people's perspective, because yes, build a relationship with yourself for self-confidence, self-worth, self-value, and to know that when you dive into the dating pool, you'll also be able to identify someone else who is relationship ready, as opposed to, as you were pointing out, someone who may drag you down with them, because you want a partner. You don't want a weight.
Right.
So yeah, but you need someone else to learn about relationship skills.
Now, how do you take these relationship skills? And so we've been talking all this time about personal relationships. And I know in researching you that you take a lot of these skills too. You are so adorable. You take, you take a lot of these skills and you turn them into professional on the professional level. So now would you take these skills? Is it the same skill set, so to speak, that you would now look to improve your professional relationships?
Absolutely, yes. As I mentioned, all relationships follow the same cycle, from chemistry to casual to committed. So if you're looking for, and in fact, we can do a little parallel game. If you're looking for someone to invite someone into your personal life, then, and we were working together, I would help you identify what is your personal profile. And from that, we would take, that's who are you in the world? What are your values? These things that we're talking about. And then we take a snapshot of that. and we represent you in the highest quality light of what's most important to you to feature, so that somebody will be invited in and intrigued by you and attracted to you based on the things that you would like to share in a partnership the most. And we might even put those online. We would definitely put it out in your network saying you're interested in your right person. All right. It's very similar. And the majority of people who come to me are very successful professionals, but somehow they haven't been able to bridge that gap into their personal lives. So to ease that struggle, here's a simple example. When you are looking for an incredible job opportunity, we took a professional profile of who are you in the world right now? What's your skill set? What do you love to do? And what will someone pay you to do? And we find that ikigai, intersection, and we put together a snapshot of your resume or CV, and then you apply to jobs with organizations that you would like to represent you, who you would like to represent. See how similar it is? And the role in that organization. And then when there's a match, we start to open the lines of communication, and you go on interviews or dates. And this is how you start to connect with the right fit. So what I've written so far, and these are both international best-selling books, Life Worth Living, A Practical and Compassionate Guide to Navigating Widowhood and Soul Parenting, because that's where I started. And the same tools in here apply to all personal relationships. And then New Management Blueprint, I wrote as a love letter, because when my first book did so well, all of the people who had reported to me said, hey, congratulations. When are you going to write the book that we've been asking you to write? So New Management Blueprint is about how to spark talent, ignite winning teams, creating valuable results. And that's aligning everyone on your team in the same direction. Bring in the value system, bring in where you're at in your career, and align all of that up so that every effort that you make will then also provide personal, professional success for the individual, for the team, and achieve the mission and vision of the business. So that, and then I've got a publisher looking at Find Love Now who's begging to have me sign a contract. And this is my new book that will come out that talks about how to find the right partner for you in the right way for enduring love.
So I have a question for you now.
Bring it.
Okay. So, Michelle, tell us, how did you get started with this first book, Life Worth Living? You said it's your first book. What got you into writing that book? What happened to you in your life?
I will
share it with us.
Yeah, I'll share. I never saw myself as an author, speaker, coach at all. And I was busy working, and very similar to who I was saying, very successful professionally, and in portfolio management, in medical publishing, in senior management at Stanford University as a social scientist in the Department of Medicine. And I was looking for my right partner. I didn't realize that I was developing this process in the process. And so it took a little longer than I thought it was going to. But when I found him, he knew he was the one for me.
The eyes across the room.
We were seated at the wrong dinner table, at the wrong dinner seating on a cruise ship, actually. And my cousin and his best friend, blah, 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 blah. And so he knew by the end of dinner I was the one for him, because he was going through a similar process that he had developed in his mind. And that night on the dance floor, he was brave enough to kiss me. I did what every man dreams of when he kisses a woman. I laughed.
What's better than throwing up?
Right. And he was brazen enough to say, well, ask what's so funny. And I said, my whole world has just changed. My life was going down the track this way, and now it's going toward you. And that's what every man dreams of when he kisses a woman, right? So we together went through the processes that I've been sharing with you here. We built a home together. We built a family together. We built a life together. And it wasn't huge, but it was perfect, and it was ours. until he died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And that left me head of household, sole parent, and you guessed it, single. So I put together, again, being process oriented, I put together a process of all the things that I had learned that succeeded in my professional life, transferred them to my personal life, including how do I build an advisory board of who do I go to for what? Because I was going to my husband all the time,
Right.
and now he's not there. So I needed emotional support. I needed subject matter experts. I needed people who would leverage their success for mine. I needed accountability partners. And so I built an advisory board for myself. And I put together these processes. And then I did the same for my kids. And then a friend of mine who I used to go running with in high school went for a run, had a heart attack, and died. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know what to do. When in fact, now that you know me a little bit, I did know what to do. So I went to his widow and said, this is never going to be okay. I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to walk this journey together. Let's project manage this thing. And did. And she then very quickly moved through grief. You never get over it, but you move through grief and you learn where it fits in your life. You honor what that person brought into your life. And that's how grief can help move you forward. I'm very good at helping people move through grief and trauma and that sort of thing now.
So you take the memories of that person and you carry them with you, and it helps you go through every single day because you're not forgetting who that person is, because that person's always with you and you just move forward.
Right. And if you honor that, that's how it helps catapult you forward. So then everyone in my community was, can you go help them, help them, help them? I'm like, I need like 2 jobs now. And so I decided that I would write the guide I did not have, and then I would go get my 2 jobs. I didn't realize that it was going to be an international bestseller, and people were reaching out to me from all over the world to help them through challenges to go from lonely to love, or chapter 2, love again. And that's how I got into this, because people were coming to me saying, can you help me? Can you help me? And I would say, well, yes, of course, but I need to go to these jobs. And they were like, no, this is your job. So the request came from the people who I am still able to help go from relationship challenge to relationship dream come true.
So there's been a rebirth of Michelle Hoffman.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. And what a great gift that I get every single day. I mean, my family, I have the 2 kids and the dog, of course. And we were featured on a local magazine, and it says a family who lost love helps others find it.
That's beautiful.
And I, of course, have my chapter 2. And he's fantastic. And he's
that was my question. I'm like, have you, Michelle, have found love again?
I have found love again. And I will tell you, where was I at on the lifeline of my relationship arc was very different than when I was sitting at the wrong dinner table at the wrong dinner seating for the man who was my husband. The person I needed then is not the person I need now. So that's why when people are looking for that 3rd tier first, you're looking in the wrong direction. So where are you at in life? Find someone with a similar intersection. And my boyfriend certainly does that. And our core values are in alignment. Some of them are very different. And, faith, family, finance, fitness, our sense of adventure is very much the same. We spent 3 weeks in the Caribbean this winter. And that's what we're looking for. Intellect, cultural, those types of things. It's very easy to be in a relationship with someone who is adoring you as you. So absolutely, yes, I have found my person again. And
I gotta give you this.
Thank you. And now I get to help other people find the right love fit for them and their lives, regardless of who you are, or what challenges or obstacles or what baggage you think you might have. Someone else might find that as attractive. And again, Oftentimes people don't believe me and they say they're unmateable until they find their person and go, oh, I didn't know what love felt like. I wished her a happy birthday, this one client, and her boyfriend brought her to Greece. So she sent a picture of the two of them having lunch in Greece. And she says, thank you. We're celebrating my 84th birthday in Greece.
Wow.
I may have died without knowing what true love is. So thank you for helping me understand what love is for me and then finding it. I'm like, yay!
This is beautiful because so many people, and I make jokes about this, in my other life besides being a podcaster, is that so many people are not looking for Mr. Right, but they're settling for Mr. Right now.
Well, you don't need to settle because that compromise is another way of saying I'm going to be someone I'm not. And we've already talked about how that does
Right.
not work over time. And then there you build a resentment. And then people will tend to look outside their core value system and go, and outsource responsibility. It's like, well, I gave up this so that we could be together. And the other person's like, I didn't ask that of you.
Yeah.
So that's how relationships get out of alignment. And to put them back in alignment, again, where are you at from chemistry to casual to committed? Are you in that excited initial phase of chemistry, which literally changes the chemical structure in your body with the dopamine and the serotonin? And, these are the neurotransmitters that help you to reach out, like oxytocin, to the little love neurotransmitter that's going to help you connect. And this is also what makes you like forget to put your shoes on or turn the oven off. It's like, and every time the phone rings, you're like, is that my person thinking about me?
When you get the text and you're excited, when you get the text message, oh my God, he's thinking about me.
Yeah. And then just when the phone dings, you're thinking it's there. And so you get this little hit again that is like, more, I want more. And then when you move into the casual phase of a relationship, we as mammals absolutely love to be able to anticipate what is going to happen. What will it be like to be with your person? What will the experience be like? And I liken it to, you've got a favorite song. How often would you like to hear that song? And does it do something good for you every single time you hear it? You know where the bridge is, you know where the chorus is, and you know where the highlights are. And it's so exciting to be able to anticipate what's going to happen with a song you love. Similar to, you have some idea of what might happen, and you can kind of figure out, it's going to be like going to your favorite restaurant, ordering your favorite meal. You have an idea of what the experience is going to be like, so you want to go again. Maybe it's that first kiss. Maybe it's the next kiss. And all of those experiences come together to bring us a sense of calm and comfort, security and confidence that, as you were saying, this person will support you and help make decisions that are in your best interest and bring their sense of humor and communication and a sense of caring to you. Now, there's another big thing that happens in the casual phase of a relationship. This is when those flags start flaring up. And if it's a yellow flag, it could be, I need to ask you something. Maybe I didn't understand this correctly. Are you completely divorced? Are you emotionally and legally single and available? And if they say yes, then that turns into a green light, go. And that pushes you with like a handshake through the commitment phase, and it catapults you forward into the chemistry phase of a relationship again. But if that red flag is something that you're like, ooh, this is outside my value system, that's the signal to disengage and create some distance between you. And you can explain it, because you were asking me in the green room, what do you do with red flag deal breakers, and how do you politely get out of a situation? And it's as simple as saying, this is my core value system, and that's outside my value system. It's fine that you've chosen this path for you. It doesn't work for me, so we're not a match.
Because one of the things that you can't change your value system for somebody else.
No,
And even if you try faking it, eventually it's going to come up. Like you said, well, you made me do this for you, or you made me stop doing that for you.
that right. And that pushes a relationship out of alignment. And we want that alignment so that you've got the green light, go. And again, it's that commitment handshake that catapults you forward into the chemistry phase again of like, oh my God, we've reconnected after years and there's real potential here. And then as you continue to communicate and you see that things are good, then that's the handshake again that says, you know what, we might need to like meet in person again. And that is like, and then you go out, you meet one another, you are who you say you are, you're genuine, you see that where you're at in life is a similar intersection, and what you want for your life is also similar. Your value system is in alignment by asking open-ended questions to get an idea very quickly. And you can do that even before you meet someone. And then you go, you know what, let's be, in a situationship or a relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I think the levels change based on your generation. If we're just talking, or if we're in a relationship, or if it's my beau or situationship, whatever it is. So when you agree on that, that catapults you forward into chemistry again, literally changing your identity, your relationship with yourself, and your relationship with this partner and who you are in the world, because then you're girlfriend, for example. So that's how to spiral those relationships up to be the relationship that you want it to be.
Now, Michelle, in your years of experience, especially nowadays, we're in 2024, and a lot of people have been either married and divorced at least more than once. What do you find as a so-called deal breaker why some people don't want to get into a relationship? That they rather just stay single, maybe just, date with no commitment. Is it, what are they afraid of? Do you think it's because I've heard from different people that I've spoken to, well, I had a really bad marriage, I had a really bad divorce, I'm not looking to do that again. So they have this negative attitude about getting into any sort of relationship.
So what I think you're actually asking about is based in attachment theory. And very high level, there are people who are anxious attachers. One of the first cues of an anxious attacher could be, what could I say? What could I do differently? How can I please you? How can I behave in a way that's going to be in the betterment of our relationship? There are secure attachers, and there are anxious or avoidant attachers. And then there's a whole nother cross-section of anxious avoiders. But who I think you're talking about are avoidant attachers. Avoidant attachers at some point in their life they felt like they needed their needs met. And I've got some deep science on this in my own philosophy of, there's 7 basic things that need to be cared for. And we know that through time, we want you to be able to care for those things on your own. But initially, we're born into this world in a way where we've got caretakers or community or tribe to help us reach that calm, that homeostasis, that stability that you even mentioned earlier. And if for some reason in your young years, you weren't able to have somebody help you meet those needs, and you were feeling alone, lonely, and unlovable, then you may spend your entire life proving that you are lovable. Now, the avoidant attachers, from my experience, tend to be very accomplished professionally. They tend to be very attractive, charismatic. They have figured out ways throughout their lives to gain the attention and the reassurance and the support that they need to find that homeostasis. These are also the majority of the single people in the world. And they may say, well, it didn't work before, it won't work again. The way to move to a more secure attachment style is to be with someone who has a secure attachment style, or to find somebody like me who can help you, a professional who can help you be more confident and secure in yourself. So you were alluding to this earlier. so that when you're in a partnership and there's a classic scenario that happens, and it would be an anxious attacher with an avoidant attacher. Oh my God, it's exactly the setup you said. They're in the bar, they see each other from across the room, the chemistry is high, the music is playing, everything fades out, and it's just the two of them. And it's movie magic moment after magic moment after magic moment.
And you hear Barry White very
There-
low in the background going, "Ooh, baby, baby."
That's exactly it. And then what happens is these two move from chemistry into the casual phase of a relationship.
Mhm.
The avoidant is saying, you are not enough. And the anxious person is saying, what else could I do? Then it's that self-fulfilling prophecy of, I don't know what else I could do or give to this relationship. And then they get upset because I've done and given everything and there's nothing left of me. Why are you not recognizing and appreciating me? And then the avoidant is saying, well, in reality, you were never enough for me. You're not proving to me that I am lovable. So they create distance when they feel they need to be emotionally vulnerable.
And the other one's getting more clingy.
Well, they could get clingy, which makes them pull further away,
Right.
or they just say, to the point where I've done and given you everything, and it
There's nothing
explodes,
left. Right.
fireworks, and then the whole thing just explodes. And
Yeah, and you hear that song that comes up, like, "What do I do to make you love me?"
Right.
It's kind of like, "I will do anything and everything. I will be a doormat for you," and it's still not enough.
Right. Right. So it's these avoidants who make up the majority of the single world, proving that they are lovable, and they are. They just need someone who understands them.
What to tell them every second of the day. Yes, you're lovable. Yes, you're. But what about me? I have no time for you.
Right. Well, the avoidant would find that probably overwhelming. So yeah, it's in all cases having someone in your life that gives you stability and security, and knowing that you're lovable and you are enough creates a wonderful relationship. But to your point, most of the people in the single world are proving they're lovable. And once they've got that, if they have to get too emotionally vulnerable, they'll step away from that and try and prove it somewhere else.
Can the avoidant who doesn't think he or she is lovable, can that person ever be happy in a relationship?
Absolutely, yes. And like I said,
Mhm.
they just need someone who understands them. And will allow them
I want to put like two little eyes on your hand with a little wig.
I know. These two do a lot of talking. The hand puppets come out. But again, it's knowing who you are and that you are lovable and you are enough exactly as you are. And if you've struggled with that, then finding somebody like me, a relationship coach, who knows how to help people become more secure in their attachment styles and understand the self-confidence, self-value, and self-worth that you have, that you bring to a relationship makes all the difference in the world.
Michelle, thank you. What I'd like you to tell everybody before we have to, unfortunately, end the time together for now, because I'm going to be bringing you back, especially when you have that other book published. So for anybody and everybody who would like to know more about you and read your books, please share with all of us, and we'll put it into the chat as well. Share with everybody where they can get your books, your website, everything about you so that we can reach out to you.
Super easy. theartofrelationshipping.com. And theartofrelationshipping.com, there's a resources page. There's plenty of free stuff on the free resources at theartofrelationshipping.com. And you can spend some time with me. Just click on Speak with Michelle, and I'd be happy to help you figure out what is your relationship strategy and how to invite the right love into your life at theartofrelationshipping.com. So Pam, what was like one aha moment that you may have had during our conversation today?
Oh, let's see. The aha moment that I had was not okay. Like, I'm not changing for anybody. I'm not expecting anyone to change for me. And so that's something I've always known. But the aha moment is be more open and accepting.
Awesome. Thank you. Because life is better with good love in it.
Yes. And so, everybody, you have been sharing the evening with myself and Michelle Hoffman. Life is better with good love. Michelle, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you and speak with you again and read all your books.
Yay.
Good luck with the new one.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
everybody.
having
Go
me.
out and find good love.
Yes.